You know that feeling after you finish filming a YouTube video? You're exhausted and mentally drained, but the hardest part hasn't even started yet. You still need to write a title, polish a description, figure out the right thumbnail text, and even draft a promotional email to your list. All that stuff takes a lot of time. And that's why I built this 5-step automation system that takes care of all that post-production for you in just minutes. I've been building AI automation systems for creators and agencies for almost 2 years now. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this one works, step by step, so you can copy it for yourself and never have to do this stuff manually ever again. I'm going to walk you through a demo of how this works in the wild. So here we are on Airtable, and this is the YouTube post-production system, which stores all the outputs from transcript. So it's quite simple. We've just got the date at which it generated these outputs. We've got the title ideas here. So you can see it gives you 12 different ideas based around well-known and proven structures for great YouTube titles. You can see these are good. These are good for a click-through rate, and they're going to hopefully entice your viewers to click on your video. Then we've got the description. This is important because it picks up keywords and it helps your video to rank in a YouTube search. So this is a no-nonsense description that gets straight to the point and throws in keywords like automate your brand deal outreach, make.com and ChatGPT. So that saves you from figuring out how to write those. Then we've got the thumbnail text, which is the short text that go on the image itself. And as you can see, it's given 12 examples here. Now, finally, what I like to do is send an email broadcast to my list every time I publish a new YouTube video. This walks them through the benefits of the video and what they can learn based directly on the steps of the tutorial. Pretty straightforward to get AI to take the transcript of the video and turn it into this kind of email broadcast. So as you can see here, it's given me 3 subject line ideas, and then it's following my structure, which is like a hook. The hardest part of brand collaborations is not the content, it's knowing when to reach out. Why the problem matters, a breakdown of the workflow itself, step by step, which is it's easy for the system to pick up from the transcript. Then a real example, payoff or the ROI, and practical details of the build, so that the things they need, the amount of time they need to set it up, the running cost, and then a call to action to get the templates from my Gumroad. So yeah, it's even got a PS to send them to my next tier up offer, which is a private community, and here's the link to join the waitlist. This is an email that's pretty much ready to copy paste into my email marketing software. Now I'm going to jump into make.com and just show you how this looks under the hood and how it runs. Here we are at make.com. Now, first off, it's quite a long one, this one. You can see it starts in Google Docs, runs through 4 different ChatGPT modules to create the different parts of the post-production. So we've got the title ideas here, thumbnail text, then the description, and finally the email broadcast. And then at the end, they are all stored in Airtable, which you just saw. Why am I using Google Docs at the beginning? There are a couple of options to do this, and I thought that I could use the native YouTube module to grab the freshly published video when it was still unlisted. But unfortunately, it looks like that module only grabs videos that are actually public already. Of course, you don't want to go public without having the title and the thumbnail and etc. already in place. The system I've got at the moment is basically watching a Google Doc for changes. And then what I do is I go into my recording software, which is Teller, and I copy paste the full transcript, and then I paste it straight into a Google Doc here. As you can see, the full transcript is there. The trigger is watching the document for changes. So when it sees that that document has changed, then it triggers the scenario and it gets the content of the document, and then it sends it through each of these ChatGPT modules to produce each part of the post-production flow. Each one is stored in a variable with its own unique name. Thumbnail texts, description, and finally the email broadcast. That means I can keep control over the variables, and I can just plug them in to Airtable neatly at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to run this. We'll see how it works. I've already pasted my latest transcript here into the Google Doc. So let's run this manually. Choose where to start. Okay, we're going to choose manually. And here, paste your transcript here. That's the title of the Google Doc that it's watching. So we're going to select that and we're going to click Run Once. So as you can see, it's already got the content of the document and it has passed that into the first ChatGPT module, which is now creating those 12 title ideas based on the transcript. Now, as you can see, it's reached the end of the scenario and it is now creating the email broadcast, which is the final piece of the puzzle. And that, when it's done, all of them will be outputted into the Airtable here, and will create a new record for all of 4 of those fields. So the whole scenario has run and it's successfully completed. It took maybe 5 minutes to complete, but bear in mind that there's a big transcript about 5 pages long and it has to run through all these different modules for processing. So it's going to take, at least 5 minutes to do that. Okay, so everything is now in Airtable. So let's go over to Airtable and take a look. Okay, so today's the 25th of September and this is the new material that we've got. There we go. We've got 12 optimized YouTube title ideas. We've got a description, which is pretty nice. We've got 12 thumbnail texts where you can just pick the best, the one that we like the best from here. And we've also got an email draft here that we can just put into our email marketing software. Okay, so that is the demo completed. So now I'm going to open up a new canvas in Make and I'm going to show you how to build out this scenario from scratch. And I will make the full template available in the description so you can just download the file and upload it directly into your own copy of Make. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into a new make.com canvas here and I'll show you how to set this up. So the trigger is going to be Google Docs and that is going to watch documents in a folder. So whenever a new document is either created or modified, it will trigger this workflow. And we already have a document here which has the latest transcript and which I can just select all, delete that one and add the latest transcript to trigger the flow again. So this is a very, very simple and basic way of doing it, but it works. So let's just choose that folder. If you're setting this up, you'll have to add your own Google Docs connection here, but that's pretty easy to do. You just need to sign in with your own Google account here. So I'm going to watch documents by modify date because we're not actually creating a new document each time. We're just giving it new content. And I'm going to just open up the folder ID here and locate the folder where this document lives. Okay, it's here in video transcript. So I'm going to set the limit to 1 at the moment and click save on that. We are going to be able to choose where to start, so we can either choose manually, which we'll probably do in this flow, but when we've got this all set up and running in the background, we can select from now on and then the flow will automatically trigger whenever we paste a new document into this document right here. So let's just set it like that for now. Okay, we've got the first module. So this one is watching the documents, but we also need to have a second Google Docs module which gets the content of a document that it's watching. Let's just get that set up now. We need to go back to the same location. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, so that's the exact document. Paste your transcript here. So we're going to select that, and this is the document that we want it to get the content of every time we paste in a new transcript. I'm going to click save on the scenario just to make sure it's all locked in. Okay, so we've got the content of our document. Now we have it. We need to start putting it into ChatGPT modules to convert it into the different parts of the post-production flow. So I'm going to add the first ChatGPT module here. We'll create a completion prompt and we're going to use ChatGPT 5. I'm going to set the maximum tokens at 4,000 because we're dealing with quite a big piece of content here for the transcript. And this one is going to be for the title. So let's add a new message here. We're going to start with defining a system role, which is you are a YouTube title strategist. Again, pretty simple, but it's important to have that defined. And then the user prompt will give it the full instructions on what to do. Okay, so here we go. So this prompt, we have a bunch of rules to follow. So I've collected these from proven examples of titles that work well. And we're going to add the transcript here, which is going to be the text content of the Google Doc. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the advanced settings. I'm going to adjust the temperature here. Now, this is a setting where if it's 0, it's going to be a very focused and well-defined response following the prompt exactly. If it's 1, then it's going to be more diverse and creative, but sometimes harder to control. So because I want these titles to be quite similar to the examples I've given, I'm just going to set this at 0.7 to get a more balanced output. Click save, and let's just give this a name to make sure we know which one it is. Rename, we'll call it title. There we go. Okay, this will create the titles. Now, once the titles have been created, we want to move on to the next step in a linear way. So we are going to store those in a variable. To do that, I need to get to Tools, select Set Variable. I'm going to call it titles, and the value is going to be the output from that ChatGPT module. And then we can save it. And now we're going to move on to the next step. So that will live in that variable until we use it at the very end of the workflow to put it into our Airtable. So now I'm going to set up another ChatGPT module. In fact, I'm going to clone this one because that will keep some of the settings intact, and we just need to adjust the prompt. So it keeps the model the same, and it keeps the advanced settings and the completion tokens the same. So that's quite convenient. So we just need to change these prompts. This is thumbnails. So I'm going to just give it its role, and then the user. Here's the user prompt. Okay, that's its task and the rules to follow. And again, the transcript is going to be that same text that we grab from the content of the document. And it will be text content right there. Okay, everything else is done. We've got the maximum completion tokens and the temperature already set. We'll click save and we'll just give that a name because this is going to be thumbnails. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing again, which is just to grab that output and store it in a variable in make.com. Again, we'll just call this thumbnails, and the value will be the result of that ChatGPT module. Okay, now next up, we're going to clone again, give it a name. This is going to be description. So you see how we're building it piece by piece here. For the description prompt, we assign the user role like this. Again, everything stays the same. Delete that and put in this new prompt. Here is the transcript. Let's make sure it has that transcript, text content, click save. Okay, great. And then again, do the same thing. We set that variable, going to call it description. The value will be the output from that ChatGPT module. And then we can add the final ChatGPT module. And this is going to create an email broadcast to your list where you can advertise your video to them and get those really important early clicks. Again, it's probably better to just clone it because that keeps some of the settings the same and means that we just have to change the prompt. Call it email broadcast. There we go. And again, the same module, the same tokens. Yeah, we just need to do the prompts. So again, I'm going to assign the role here, quite a long prompt here. Okay, that's the instructions. If you want to have the same access to the same prompts, you just need to go to the description, and I'm going to drop a link there where you can download a copy of this whole scenario as a template. So all you need to do is just upload that JSON file into your own make.com, and all the prompts will be there ready and waiting for you to use or to tweak as you like. So let's get that set up with the transcript, which again will be the same thing from the Google Doc. So you can see pretty clearly how it's all coming together. Click save. Finally, store that in a variable. We'll call it emails and the result of the most recent. Make sure it's the result from the correct module of ChatGPT so things don't get confused. Okay, there we go. We've now got most of the scenario built out. Click save in case make.com decides to mess us up by crashing or something. It doesn't really happen that often. Finally, we want to get this into an Airtable, and I've got my Airtable set up like this. So I've got basically the date here to identify the video, title ideas, description, thumbnail text, and email broadcast. And I'll let you set this up yourself in Airtable. It's pretty easy to do. You just need to start a new base and copy these fields into your own base. So we add an Airtable module here, and we're going to go for create a record. Create a record will fill out each of these fields one by one with a different piece of information from this flow. Find the right base. Again, you need to add your own table connection here. And my base is called YouTube Post-Production System. There we are, found it. The table is, I've got two different versions here, but we're going to go for the docs version. Okay, now we need to tell it what to put in each different field. For date created, we'll just use make function to put now, and that will be the date that the workflow runs. Okay, so title ideas, we need to get that from the GPT module that produced title. But instead of going straight for the GPT output, we're going to get the one that's captured in the variable. Then description, right order. Okay, there we go. Thumbnail text will be thumbnails. And email broadcast will be email. Video ID, I don't have that at the moment. That's from another version of this workflow. Okay, so we save that, and that's pretty much everything. Now, there was one extra component that I added in this. Because we're using a lot of OpenAI modules and they're in this linear order, there's always the risk that if one of them for some reason fails, like for example, if ChatGPT is down or overloaded, then the rest of the scenario is not going to run. What I did was add error handling modules to all 4 of our ChatGPT modules here. And to do that, you right click on it and you click add error handler. And I'm going to add resume here. So this basically tells it to, even if there's an error, just to carry on with the rest of the scenario. And I'm going to give it like a kind of a holding text, which it will put in Airtable instead of the actual result. So we'll call it title goes here. Okay, maybe something like that. So it's really clear that it's an error. Click save. That's all we need. And now we're just gonna copy module. We'll just do it manually. Okay, so another resume. Here we'll add, okay, click save. It's quite important to have these to keep things flowing in the event an error does happen, because otherwise, you'll still get some of your results and you can always run it again later. Okay, so we've got 4 error handlers, which should keep everything moving along smoothly in the event that ChatGPT has a glitch on one of these modules. Unlikely to happen, but you never know. That is now complete. So yeah, I'm going to save that. And that is our post-production flow for YouTube. Now, I'm going to include a link to this full scenario in the description. So all you need to do is download the JSON file from that link and just upload it as a new file in make.com. And then you'll be able to get all of this and tinker with it and tweak it for your own needs. So that's the system. Just a video transcript in and all your post-production text, titles, descriptions, thumbnail ideas, even an email broadcast ready to use out the other side. And if you want to go deeper into these topics, I'm in the process of launching a new membership community that's focused on automation and AI search visibility. The waiting list is open right now, and you'll find the link in the description if you want to sign up. And if this video helped you, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'll be sharing more automation strategies just like this, so you can spend less time on the boring stuff and more time running your business. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.